is Friday, it's day 2 in Poland, and we are here with some awesome new friends that we've made. Olga and Denys. They're blind and they've come from Ukraine. I met them through our Olga and Anthony, so now we have 2 Olgas. And Denys and I are Facebook friends, and we've been getting to know each other, and Denys and Olga speak English, and they agreed to share their story and a little bit about them with all of you, and we brought them a Braille display. These are some of the people that your support is helping us to serve. So maybe we can just start with Olga and Denys. If you want to introduce yourselves and tell them a little about you, that would be a great place to start.
What precisely do we share? What do we share? I'm 39 and
whatever you want to share. You know where you're from.
I was born in Ukraine, and I lived all my life there. And though I changed several locations, I used to live in a smaller town, then in Kharkov, and then in Kiev. And so we have a daughter, and we have 7 pets. That's probably the most interesting part about us.
Yes, so hi guys, I'm Olga, and so as Denys said, we lived near Kiev. We've been living near Kiev lately, but before that we also lived in Kharkov. And I work as a language tutor, and Denys is a translator and a copywriter. And yes, we've come to Poland with our family, with our pets, also due to help of a huge number of people. And I think this is just, incredible what people have been doing for us. And we're here now, safe.
What was it like? I think one question that a lot of people in America have been asking me is, what was the process of leaving Ukraine like, especially for you with all of your pets and all of the planning and being visually impaired, blind? Do you mind talking a little bit about what that was like?
Yeah, of course we can. First of all, when talking about the war, we always mention that because the day when it began was our daughter's birthday,
Wow.
and it was horrible. Though we were not woken up by the explosion.
Yes, we were woken up by our friend who told us that the war had started.
Yeah.
Yes, and I went to my daughter's room, and she woke up all happy with balloons all around her room, and I had to explain to her somehow that it was.
She didn't know what war was, because we used to run into some military museums in the city, right? They are all mainly open air in Ukraine, right? So there are some.
I think she had a very basic idea.
Tanks, and she tried to ask about what this technique is good for, and I always avoided answering because I thought that she was too young to understand the very concept of war. But it turned out that she would have to understand it earlier than I would wish her to.
Yes, and as for our living, it was as you, Laura, said, complicated for a number of reasons. Because because we were visually impaired, we were scared to go to a railway station and try our luck there, because at the railway stations it's really crazy and there are crowds, and with a small child we just didn't want to risk that. And besides, we had this number of pets that we couldn't just abandon.
With the trains, it's you need to understand that when it all began, people stopped using tickets. The ticket
free,
system
yes.
Was not working anymore. People who had tickets had a privilege, sort of, but it's first come, first served, sort of.
Yes,
principle.
so anybody who could get on the train got on the train. Yes, something like that.
They would stand in the trains, traveling all the way from Kiev to Lviv, almost 1,000 kilometers. And so
I think I wanted to leave starting from day one, but we were scared because we knew that on the roads it was a madhouse, and we didn't know how to do it and if we could. So this is our daughter. You can meet her. This is Inga, and finally, a Polish pen pal recommended me a Facebook group of Polish people who were helping to save Ukrainian pets from Ukraine, and that's how we got in touch with those people. But organizing it all, it took a lot of time. For 2 days, we were, we had our suitcases ready, and basically we had our pets all in cages ready to go any minute, because we were told every half hour, okay, somebody is coming to get you, and be ready, you will be leaving in an hour. And then it didn't happen, and then so it went on for 2 days, and then for 2 more days we were actually traveling, but I think it was actually short, because many people travel for 4 or 5 days to get out of Ukraine. It's normal.
Because like if you do not know the country roads, the main highways
Yes.
were so busy that people would simply stand in a jam for like a day or so, easily.
Yes, you can spend a day in a traffic jam, and then on the border you can spend easily several days. Yes, so
it's not as bad right now, but it used to be.
it
in
depends.
the beginning.
So where you go, like we were very lucky with our driver. Especially the first driver, he took us through some back countryside roads, and we passed very safely out of Kiev region.
That must have been really scary, waiting and not knowing when you were gonna get out, or
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because you never know what flies over you. Like because they bombed civilians very.
Yes, many refugee cars are being shot as they go, so we didn't know if that would happen to us, but our trip was very safe.
Basically, the goal is to create panic, so that's what they do in order to create it. They just shoot at civilians and
yeah.
That to develop the idea that it's better to give up than to.
How did
to
you
live like
actually
this.
cross the border? Tell us how you crossed the border with 7 cages, a child, and Olga is also pregnant.
And the suitcase,
And one suitcase.
Oh my gosh.
Somewhere among all that. So yeah, we were, somehow we overlooked this part of the plan, because we had to walk across the border, and we had a driver who took us to the Ukrainian border, and we had another driver waiting for us on the Polish side, but we had nobody to walk us across. And we had 4 or 5 cages, a suitcase. Some of these cages are quite big, with middle-sized dogs.
Like one cage is actually meant to be carried by 2 people.
Yeah.
I mean, it has
It
2
has 2 handles,
and
yes, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
So we couldn't, in any possible scenario, carry all this on our own, and we were standing like near the border guards and trying to figure something out. They were very unhappy to see us there. They were swearing at us very harshly, because they were like, it's war and you come here with your cats, and what do you want from us? So at some point I said to Denys, okay, so probably Inga should guide you, and you take as many animals as you can at a time and cross the border, and then you come back. And when I said that, I started crying. So I think that was what solved our problem in the end, because when I said that, the border guards decided to help us after all, because basically they were not allowed to go in that zone, as far as I understand. Only
it was their instruction. They should. They
Yes.
were meant to stay on the Ukrainian side.
Yes, so they cannot cross the border, but in the end they helped us, and that's how we crossed. But it was like probably the worst moment of our trip, because we really, and one of the guys said, okay, so are you going to let your dogs go here, because you cannot possibly cross with them by yourself, so just let them out here. And we said, no, we're not going to do that. So it was pretty nasty.
I mean, to be so close to like safety and
Yeah,
not have to worry
right.
about that.
So at some point it felt like there was no way we could cross really, and
Yeah.
Because it was like 1 mile, right?
Right,
To
right.
walk.
It was a
1
lot.
mile.
It
yes,
was a lot.
yes, and
right.
it was not
It's not a long walk if you have nothing on you, but
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But
and
you
it
had
wasn't a
some-
straight road either. Like you had to go through some terrain. There was some trucks or buses passing, so it wasn't very.
people barbecuing. And
It was wild.
pretty
So
well, yes.
once you reached Poland, how has it been? How has the process been of settling in, finding somewhere to stay? How has it been here for you?
The housing was found for us in advance, like people who helped us on the Polish side, the zoo volunteers, and they had it all arranged in advance for us.
So
Awesome.
it was like a fairy tale, really. After what we had been through, we came here, and it was like a totally different reality. People were so kind, so helpful. We didn't really lack anything. We had everything we needed. It was just, I cannot describe how it felt, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, people in Poland probably they've been to the Soviet Union, and that's probably that's why they understand it most. Like people in Finland also most likely remember it, and maybe in Czech Republic and in other places where people know what it's all about. So they are very, very helpful and very willing to help. It's like unthinkable.
To change topics slightly, when you were living in Ukraine, what kind of technology did you use that would help you? Like, you know, as a blind person, people are always interested in knowing what people use every day. So did you guys use like computers and screen readers or Braille, or have you ever had a Braille display? I know we've talked about that, but something our supporters always like to hear about.
Basically, most people in Ukraine nowadays use telephones, and that's it.
So you've never had a Braille display?
We do a lot of writing, and it's hard to write with your telephone. So we also heavily use laptops
And screen readers.
and
Yes.
screen readers, of course.
But we've never had a Braille display.
But a Braille display is not possible to buy in Ukraine. I mean, like the cost of it is quite a significant sum for an average Ukrainian, and it is impossible to get it as a part of social support.
That's what I try to explain to people, that
Right.
that over here in this part of the world, the resources and support that we would have in America or in Finland are quite different, and so for you,
Yeah, basically, in Ukraine, what do you like beyond your social security, social payments, right?
yeah.
Beyond them, what you have is about $100 for a telephone for 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Then $30 for a cane. No, not 30. I'm sorry. About $10 for a cane.
Guys, a cane in America costs about 20 or 30.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I need you
They
to
mean
understand.
some sort of Chinese canes, which are not like.
Good quality.
There are some plastic Ukrainian canes. They found the lowest price, and that's what they set standard for.
So if you're watching this for the first time and you're new to our work, you've got to understand the difficulty that in America, this technology and stuff, and even a cane is maybe 20 or 30 bucks in America, $20 or $30. It's even more euros in Europe, and like, of course, all of the technology, Americans and Finnish people and people from the UK, etc., will be familiar with how expensive it is, but in Ukraine, it's even more difficult.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So what difference would having a Braille display make to your family?
Well, our work is related to texts largely, right? I translate and Olga does teaching, and so for us it is at least we used to study in the at school and at the university, and the Braille was the major tool for us.
Yes.
And it is still more comfortable for me, at least, to comprehend texts through Braille than through my ears.
Auditory.
So once you do language learning, you cannot always rely on a screen reader because you have to see how the words are spelled, And I think for that braille display is also crucial because like when I, for example, learn new vocabulary, I always move just the cursor just one sign at a time to see how it's spelled. It takes ages, and I really have to do that because otherwise it's not always possible to hear how it's written. And I think it's just it will make a huge difference. And
Yeah, when you proofread text,
When you
so
proofread it,
it's
it
either ineffective with a screen reader or it is
it
very,
takes a lot
very
of time.
slow.
Yes.
Right, and then translating, you also need,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So, in Finland, I was generously donated a braille display by a Finnish person who it made an impact on their life, and they want to pass on and make an impact on someone else's life as well.
Well, thanks.
And so on behalf of the Laura Wheeler Foundation and our people in Finland, I'm gonna put this in your lap, Olga, and you can
Thank
hand it to
you.
Denys.
Thank you so much.
And this braille display,
Great.
it's a Pronto. It's a from a company called Baum. They were a German company. They don't. We've talked about it a little bit. They don't operate anymore. But this is a Pronto 18. And Denys, it even has really cool features that Olga will help you learn, like even checking the temperature with. It's really cool.
Who's temperature?
Yeah, you're gonna love it. Like you're gonna geek out over it.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool looking. I mean, it's
Yes,
very-
it's very
You
tiny
can
and
browse internet, you can use it as your planner,
Yeah.
create obviously
Okay.
documents. It has a lot of features, email, check emails, everything.
And also on behalf of our foundation and all of our supporters, we're gonna make sure you guys end up with good canes, and we're gonna also make sure that you. I've heard that it's possible you might have some really old phones and maybe either an old computer or maybe you don't have one, and we're gonna fix that too.
Oh, thanks so
cool.
much.
Thank you so
We're gonna
much.
fix it for you.
Thank
So-
you.
You're gonna have everything you need to raise your children and keep your jobs and have your independence, and we're gonna make sure that you're set.
Become more effective.
Yeah.
We're gonna take care of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So awesome. It's great work, and we just want to thank everyone for their support. It's critical helping families like these wonderful people, and I'll continue making videos and writing updates as our work in Poland continues.